Hey there, it's Diane Forster, and welcome to I Have Today, where we talk about the art of intentional living. This show is all about inspiring, empowering, and educating you through life's transitions. And today, I have a very special guest in the studio with me. She's going to be here shortly, and you are going to fall in love with her. Her name is Michelle Pearson Young, and she and I met many years ago at a networking event. And I'm actually a client of her husband, Aaron Young's, at his company. And I recently had the privilege of attending an event that they held here in San Diego called Magnify Your Wealth. And I couldn't wait to go. I've been wanting to go to this event for so long because they come here every year to do this event, or at least they have for the last several years. And it's always been a conflict for me to attend. Well, I finally got the chance to go, and I finally got a chance to see them again and spend some time with Michelle and how she's transitioned her life and transformed her life. The way she lives her life is going to blow your mind, and you're going to be inspired by her, and you're going to fall in love with her, and you're going to want to work with her too. And I thought, who better to bring on the show today to help all of the women out there who are watching this, who need the support. Now, I'm going to bring her on in just a few minutes, but before I do that, let me share a little bit about her with you, and we'll get into all the nitty gritty and the good stuff when she's here. She's a public speaker, newspaper columnist, watercolor artist, and hedonist extraordinaire. Michelle Young is someone who can command a room with her bright mind and groovy attitude, where many people in the field of life coaching choose to sit you down and tell you what you're doing wrong and why you need to fix it. Michelle instead takes in considerations from all angles and offers guidance on the very process of finding solutions. And one of those things that she shared with at the recent event was her 4 pillars of well-being. So that's what I titled today's show. So we're going to talk about the 4 pillars of well-being, and Michelle is going to break them down for us in just a few minutes. Okay, so before we get into that, every week on this show, we do an intention statement. And our intention statement this week is, I have today to master my life in this curious world. I have today to master this life, my life in this curious world. And I chose that as the intention statement because it is about life mastery. And these pillars of well-being are going to help you in your life mastery. And why I chose the word curious world is because Michelle talks about a curious world, which we'll touch on. And you know, I always say there's 2 things you need to be: open and curious. Open and curious. So that's what we're going to talk about today. All right. So what we do every week with our intention statement is my team makes the most beautiful graphics. There it is right there on the screen. And what I want you to do is you can find this on my Instagram page at Diane Forster Official. If you hop on over to Instagram and go to my profile and go down, you'll see those buttons that they have there. There's a button called intention statements, and this graphic is already there. What I want you to do is I want you to take a screenshot of it with your phone and then use it as your wallpaper for this entire week. And the reason why I want you to do that is you look at your phone on average 150 times a day. Yes, that's over 1,000 times in a week. And every time you look at your phone, you're going to see that, and you're going to be reminded that I have today to master my life in this curious world. So I'm going to recommend that you do that right now. And while you're over there, if you're not following me and you feel called to, give me a follow. I'd love to get to know you and learn more about you. And you can learn more about us because we are doing some exciting things here at I Have Today, which I'm going to segue into right now before we bring Michelle up. Lots is going on. It's been over a month since I launched my podcast about TV hosting. Yes, you can laugh at the irony of that. She's doing a podcast about TV hosting? Yes, I am. And it is going to be video, and it is going to be one of the other new TV shows on our network. But I launched this podcast called Be a TV Star Host a month ago, and it's going extremely well. We have many, many reviews. We have 100% 5-star ratings. You guys are loving the content. So it's all about you as a star. You are a star. And that is my belief, that you are a star. And what your purpose in this journey is to illuminate and shine that star as bright as you can while we're here on this planet. And it doesn't matter in what field it is or what you're doing, you can be known as the star in your industry. And what I teach you is how to do it through the medium of television, which is what I teach. So that's what that show is about. It's called Be a TV Star Host podcast. So Be a TV Star Host. Oh, wait, I might even be able to transition the graphic. Do I? Can I? Yay, there's the graphic. Look how techie I am. Yeah, so there it is. And you can check it out there. Ooh, you guys, I'm so excited. I'm such a nerd. I got my studio assembled and built, a little over a month ago, right before we launched the podcast. And I have all these gizmos and gadgets and things that I'm learning how to use now. And I'm starting to, it's like taking the training wheels off your bike, right? The first time you're kind of pedaling and you're wobbling. And then all of a sudden you get the stride. Well, I'm starting to get the stride. So anyway, that's what's happening there. And another thing that I'm throwing in, and team, I'm going to call you on the spot to do this, is I wanted to tell you, wherever you are in your journey, I decided that I am going to do a very special summer school TV Star Academy program, a summer school session. So between right after 4th of July up until Labor Day, those 8 weeks in there, I'm going to do TV host training. It's my Star Academy. It's 8 weeks, and I'm letting you bring a friend for free. So we're going to put, do you have the link for that? If you can, grab the link for that. I wasn't planning on doing this, but I didn't want to let this moment go by and tell you that we decided to do this, because if you get to come for half the price and split that with a coworker or a co-host or your spouse or your partner or a friend who you both want to launch a TV show, or maybe you have a show already and you want to up level it to the next level, all you need to go to is tvstarhost.com/academy, tvstarhost.com/academy. And you can get in there, and in the code section, put BAF free, BAF free. So bring a friend free. And we have limited seats in there. We're only taking 8 to 10 students. Well, it'll be 16 to 20 with the guests, but that's it. So for the summer. So if you've ever thought about having your own TV show, this is the time to do it. This is your opportunity, because your success is never convenient. It's never convenient. You got to make the time for it. But imagine doing this class with me, and it takes about 1 to 2 hours a week. That's it. And then you'll be ready to launch your TV show by the fall. How awesome is that? So again, it's at tvstarhost.com/academy, and your code to bring a friend for free is BAF free. All right. Okay. Well, enough about that. Let's get to our interview. So Michelle Pearson Young is in the waiting room, anxiously awaiting to come on up. We're anxious to have her. So let's hear a word from our sponsor, The Spifter, and then we'll have Michelle in the studio. So listen to this. This week's episode of I Have Today is brought to you by The Spifter. The Spifter is a fun sifting spoon that makes cooking, baking, and decorating with sugars and spices so much fun. No more mess or wasting your spices. It's fast, clean, and easy. Everything looks and tastes delicious. It's also great for straining loose tea, getting pesky broken cork out of your wine glass, and draining liquid off food like olives and capers. Whether you're a novice cook or a gourmet chef, you'll love the results. The Spifter, the kitchen gadget that no kitchen should be without. Hey, Michelle, how are you?
Hello, Diane. I'm so happy to be here. And I have to tell you, I've just enjoyed the beginning of your show. I was just sitting back here and I took pictures. I didn't even wait for it to go to the screen. I took pictures. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to put that on my screen. How many times am I looking at that phone? Your enthusiasm and excitement for life is very, very contagious. Thanks for that.
Well, thank you. I received that. And back at you, sister, which is why I wanted to have you on the show. I'm so excited to have you here and introduce you
Thank you for having me.
to our audience. We have tens of thousands of viewers. I think the last measurement was 72,000 viewers for our show,
Wow.
which is awesome. So
Super nice to meet you all. Really, really happy to be here. And I love what's happening here. When you said, "Oh, hey, just by the way, my audience is women," and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I love us so much. I love that that's who we're talking to today. My favorite section of the population. I love the men too, but we're yummy."
Yes, and we have so much potential. So I want to give everybody a little bit of background. So as I mentioned earlier, about a decade ago, I met Michelle's husband, Aaron Young, who is the co-owner of Laughlin and Associates, now known as Laughlin Black. And I've been a client of Laughlin's for, I think, 9 years. 9 years.
Yeah.
I've been, and then Aaron and I became friends, saw him a lot, and met you there, Michelle, and been following your journeys, and wanted to come to the event because first of all, I love you guys so much, and I love everything that you're doing. And it was a phenomenal experience. And what I have to say, with all honesty, is I was surprised how involved you were. What an integral, essential part you brought to the experience of the event. And you brought, heart and personality too. There was personality there, but your personality there, and what you shared with everyone. And now keep in mind, this event is called Magnify Your Wealth. Your focus was on life mastery and the wealth of self and all of that, which I absolutely loved. And so I knew when I heard you speaking, you spoke a few times at the event, and you gave away prizes, which, by the way, I won a few. And I got to tell you, I've used them. Yeah, it's so great.
What did you win? I don't remember. Do you remember?
I won the cutest little cheese cutting board with that special cutter. With
the little cutter. That was my favorite thing. And I may have chosen the person that got that. I don't know.
Well, thank you for that. And then I won another beautiful, it was a piece of wood, and it had quotes in it. So it's sitting on my desk, and I rotate the quotes. Not my office desk, my personal desk out there. And so I'm reminded of you all the time, all the time.
Oh, thank you.
It was so good. But when you spoke, you spoke about three worlds, the world, the swirly world, the certain world, and the curious world. And then you also talked about the 4 pillars of well-being. And I thought, we'll talk about that today. But first, I want you to share a little bit more about you, because you are a phenomenal woman, married to Aaron.
Thank you.
You tell your story.
Thank you. Thank you. I said it already. It's genuinely a pleasure to be here, and a pleasure to be with you, get to know you better, and to get to know your people a little bit too. God, my story. The reason I love women is because my woman's story, it's been a hard road to hoe. And I genuinely I don't usually like to tell people I had a hard childhood, because everybody's hackles go up and go, you think hard, especially if you talk to somebody who comes from another country so this is the way I say it. And the reason I say it is for women, for all of us, because no matter what your story is, you can say this. I had an intense time. I've had an intense time, and I found my childhood intense, and I responded intensely to that childhood, and I responded intensely to life. And I think as women, we can all kind of identify with that. And my story goes like this. I was hungry. I was insatiable to get what I wanted, and I wasn't getting it. And on the outside, so we'll start my story. We'll go, intense things happened. I raised children. I got married. I've been married. Excuse me. We've been married for just over 37 years.
Wow.
And almost 37 and a half. And love my marriage. It's been really great, but it's been intense. It's been a relationship. And so it wasn't, you talked about the fact that I was a homemaker for a long time, but I also ran my husband's multi-million-dollar business when he went to prison.
Yes.
And it was white collar. It's a long story and wasn't a lot of fun. There was that, but I ran.
Let me
Yes.
just interrupt here because
Yes,
you're not
please.
giving this the credit it deserves. I want you all to know
Okay.
that Aaron and his partner, co-owner of the company, went to prison for about 14 months for something they didn't do, but as the co-owners of it, it still landed on them, and they
Accessory after the fact.
Right. And it was after the fact. And it was one of those things that it was just easier to take the plea, do the time, and move on. But two things happened. Number one is Aaron knows everybody on the planet. I mean, he's connected to the most powerful people in the world.
He is.
He chose Michelle to run the company. Michelle. That tells you volumes about their relationship and his trust with you. And the other thing was that he made almost $1 million while he was in prison. So because he teaches about the unshackled business owner.
Yeah.
And so the fact that he trusted it to you speaks volumes. I mean, it's incredible.
It really does.
Yeah.
And I didn't know it.
Yeah.
And I think that's, we do that as women. Here I am, I'm raising kids. I was the head of the women's organization at church. So I was the one that was in charge of social services, because the church that we were in had really a lot of structure to it. And I was running that while my husband was in prison, and I was visiting him twice a week and then organizing visits for him on the third visit. It was intense, and it said a lot about me as a woman, but I didn't know it. I genuinely, as women, we have this gorgeous brain that can do some festival things that men's brains, just their structure, the brain structure is different. Yes. And I didn't realize that both he and his partner said no. His best friend has an MBA from Harvard University and offered to run the business. And his business partner's neighbor was the CFO. Yeah, he was the CFO of Microsoft, and he said, I'll oversee the business. And they said, nope, we want her. And I didn't know. I didn't know how that it spoke highly of me. I was just like, okay, this has got another thing to do on the list. And what happened was, and I always say, you said 14 months, and I'm like, damn, girl, you remember. Oh, I'm sorry about the stories.
That's okay.
I'll build that in. I thought, oh, you do know the story. It was when I tell the story, I go, it was 14 months and 1 week, because that last week was every bit as long as all of those other weeks.
Oh, yeah.
So when he got back from prison, I was tapped out. Yeah. And that's when, that's really this kind of the genesis story is there I am. And honestly, I built 2 houses. One is just right next door to this house where we live in right now, because it's at the beach. And we bought the property next door, and I built that house while he was in prison. And I built another house on some property that we'd invested in. And then I built a home for us. It was a 7,000 square foot home, just under like 6,900 square feet, that we literally moved into. I said to the builder, I've got to have an address where this is where he will live when he gets back. I have to have an address. And the builder's like, I'm pushing, I'm like, this is the date. And literally he's like, I can't get it any sooner. We moved into the house literally on the day he got out of prison. Oh, literally. And so I was like tapped out. I had nothing left. I had 2 email addresses, and they were full of attorneys and business stuff. None of the things that were interesting or fun to me. And so when I built a new email address, I was like, too many people know about this one. Too much unpleasant, almost like PTSD in your email. I bet you there are women out there that are like, that's a thing. I don't want to open my email. And so I built a new email. And it's called Michelle at Play, MICHELLEATPLAY. And then, Diane, I had to go about the business of learning how to play, because I had gone about the business my entire life of learning how to work, learning what needed to be done, filling needs. I learned how to run a business. I learned how to run a church organization. I learned a lot of things, but I did not know how to enjoy my life. Mm-hmm. And so I named it. First, I named it Michelle at Play. This is like how I'm going to name my life. And, we talked about, you said one of the things that struck you when you heard me speak was talking about the foundational pillars of life. Yes. these are, if it's okay with you, I'll interject them while I'm telling the story of me,
Yes.
studying these things. Is that what's really interesting when we begin to study humans, what we understand is literally, and this is neurology that we're talking about. When I think a thought, that thought interacts with my brain and chemicals, but very specific chemicals responding to the thought. So a neurologist will tell you, you can experience the travesty, the tragedy, the stress, the PTSD of being in a war, and you can experience the tragedy, the travesty, the physical effects of being in a war that's across the world from you if you're thinking about it in your brain. And that's what was happening for me, is that the external of my world, I have the 7,000 square foot house, and my husband's handsome. Let's just say it right now. He's a good looking man. He's aging well.
Girl, you did
Right.
well.
I did well. I was 19 when I met that man, and I'm like, I think that'll do. And I look back at that 19-year-old kid and I go, good on ya. That was some foreshadowing there. So anyway, I had this hellscape, honestly, going on in my head from all the intense things that I'd had happen in my life, beginning to end, to husband being like worrying, is the US government opening my mail? Seriously, these are kind of some of the stresses that I had. And, it's like, do they care how much I'm shopping? Which they didn't, but they were. But
the violation of your privacy, it's so invasive.
You know what? It was, and again, talking about being raw and real, I think that every single human listening to this, whether if men come to the party, you're welcome here as well, that we've all felt that, like, as I'm describing this fairly intense experience of deep disappointment, I'd like to add, because I come from hillbillies and criminals. That's my background. I married a good guy. So when my good guy went to prison for being an accessory after the fact, I was really confused. Like my sympathetic nervous system was very pinged. And honestly, Diane, after the last 4 or 5 years, I think we can all safely say we understand that. That's what's happening. And so from that, people were saying to me, look at your life. You have these beautiful children. You have this loving husband. You have financial success. You live in a beautiful home. Wow, you're so lucky. And I looked at it and I was like, I am. So the fact that I am super effing miserable is a real problem, because if this doesn't make me happy, I don't know what would.
Can I interject
please.
For a second? Because this is why I started this TV show, because Michelle, that was my journey too. Back in 2011, when I had my suicide attempt, I had a have it all life. I was married. I had my son, daughter, twins. I had the dogs. We had the homes. We had the cars.
You had all of it.
Amazing job at ABC, the have it all life. And I was miserable on the inside. It's so epidemic. So I'm so grateful that you're talking about this and you're being so real and raw about it. So please go ahead.
Happily and thank you, because those are admitting even suicidal ideation, just admitting it. Let's just normalize that, because it's happening. And when we normalize it, then we don't have to be so scared of it. Oh, I've had these ideas. Okay, that's something to address. There's nothing wrong with me. There's nothing wrong with the world. Let's address what's going on inside and let's get us some solutions. And that's what I started doing. So I became a coach. I got certified from some wonderful teachers, but I think I'm an exception to the rule, and I genuinely mean this. I had amazing mentors, and it wasn't enough for me. I went in for some deep psychoanalysis, and I had to, because of all what I've made all the intense things mean. And what I mean by that is I said, oh, being a woman means this. And honestly, I'll tell you what I made being a woman mean. And let's see if anybody will identify with this. Honestly, we could just go to the Barbie speech, couldn't we? We could go to the Barbie speech and go, we're supposed to be this, but not that, and this and that. And that's my job, was to take care of the world. When I first met my mentor, and I said, look, my job is to take care of everybody else. And if that doesn't sound like a mom, and by the way, if you haven't had children, I don't think that disqualifies you from momming. You've got all the biology, you've got all of that nurturing yumminess. Doesn't matter if you're a woman, there's that momming there. But what we do is we make mom mean sacrificial lamb. And if you're a Christian, then Jesus already did that for you. So take that off your plate. And if you're not a Christian, then let's go, how did that work out for you? Is this, if you're not thriving, and you can speak for your twins, when you weren't thriving, were your kids truly thriving? Even if you weren't letting them know, they can tell.
Of course they felt it. Of course they felt it. That, the childhood trauma and PTSD they experience living with a mom and a dad who didn't get along, a mom who was unhappy, a dad who was unhappy too. And
meaning life. They were dealing with life. It's not like you're describing a really, really troubled household. You're describing life.
Right.
So when we can normalize this and just go, oh, I'm having these feelings, this is what, okay. So the 4 pillars of life, let's go to them, because when we talk about the turmoil that we both experienced, and surely the people that we're talking with have experienced, we go, when I have troubling thoughts, it literally physically alters my well-being. My immune system drops down. Different hormones are emitted in my body that cause depressive results. A whole bunch of things happen from that. And I can literally get physically ill because my thoughts are hopeless. I'm in a loop of, but I'm never going to get my needs met. And that's, I'll tell you what, if that's not a suicidal ideation right there, I'm never going to get my needs and wants met.
Right.
That's a scary thought. And it's why I teach what I teach, because that's what I believed. I believed the way I'm built, the history that I come from, that I'm a woman, the culture that I live in means I'm not going to get what I want. And that's pretty upsetting.
Yes, it is.
So I studied with mentors. I got into good therapy. I got a good therapist, and let's make the differentiation. I got into effective therapy. And then I started learning. And then what I did, I was a coach at that time. And then I started implementing, I started understanding coaching principles, like what we think about, we bring about. Well, that's neurology too. Right. Neurons that fire together, wire together. And that's psychology. That's another word for, confirmation bias is another. So confirmation bias. So going to okay. So I'm going to back up because I keep going over how much our thoughts are impacting our well-being, which is the first pillar of wellness of life is your health. And I had a client explain it to me beautifully. She said, oh, I understand exactly what you're saying. We're going to give your health the value of a 1. And now we're going to give the second pillar of life, which is your relationships, the value of 10. Now we've got, or 0. So the 1 goes, and then the power to the power of 10, we get a 0. And then, so you've got your health, then you've got your second one is your relationships.
Yes.
And that's going to add a 0. So now you've got the power of 10 here. So now you're going to add another 0, giving you 100. And that's your career and creative expression.
Yes.
1 is health, add a 0, your relationships, career and creative expression. And the reason that one, not just career, is I love what I do. I work in people's brains. People invite me into their heads. They tell me what tools they have in there, and then I teach them how to get what they want. So that's what I do for my career. My creative expression is I'm an artist. So I get to paint. So so that's another one. So if we look at the quality of life that we have to make sure that the career is giving us quality and creative expression. They might be the same thing. Maybe I'm an ice skater, but they might not. So we really have to look at how am I expressing in the world? How do I get to express? Yes. So that's number 3. And then number 4, adding a 4th 0, giving our life 1,000 points, is our time and our financial freedom. Thank you. So the time, so we need our financial freedom, we need our resources in order to enjoy our time, and we need our time in order to enjoy our resources. So now we got 4 pillars. We can put anything we want on the table. It's a big old table. But what happens if we take the 1 away? So we've got a table, but we've also got 1,000 points, right? But we take away our health, and now we've got 0. Because if I am sick and in bed and feeling so gross, and I've had this over the last few years as I've been healing, is I can have my whole family around and everybody is enjoying themselves, and there's a cacophony of grandchildren giggling and my adult children enjoying each other's company and my loving husband's there. And I'm in my bedroom in the dark with a mask on and I don't get to enjoy it. My quality of life is at a zero, even though all of the outside things look great.
Yes. This is so powerful. This, to quote you, it's so yummy.
It's so yummy. And I'd like to qualify the yummy word. I love science words because I lived in kind of a magical thinking world for so long. So I love science. And I have looked for the best word that people don't get reactive to, because if I say a gorgeous life or a beautiful experience or you are so fancy or whatever, people will get reactive and go, look, I don't need to be fancy. I just want to be happy. But if I say you want the yummiest life, people go, because their internal self has the gauge for that. And everybody wants pleasure. And that's why yummy.
That's why yummy. It's so good. It's so powerful. This is so good. So, okay. I want to cover this because this was so good too, because I relate to this so well. When you talked about the worlds, because I think people need to understand that they're actually the one in control of their world, right? What is actually going on out there is a direct reflection of your beliefs and, all the things. So you described it in 3 ways. You did the swirly world. And what is the swirly world?
Okay, so swirly world is where I grew up, and a lot of people did, but I don't want everybody to go, I had a great childhood, I don't need to listen to her, because we all have swirly thinking if we get stuck. If we're not getting what we want, if we're feeling hopeless, we're swirling around in our own stuff. So the way I describe swirly world, and you can kind of see it right there.
Yeah.
The brown one. There it is. And what it is swirled thinking. So imagine our globe, but there's an eye in the middle of it, blinking eye. I'm looking out. So it's eye-centered world. And at the bottom, there's a little dollar sign because there's a little bit of money, but then there are arrows that go into the dollar sign, but out of the dollar sign, and it's swirling all over the place. This is where I grew up. This world is based on other people's opinions. You're too fat. You're too thin. You're too old. You're too young. You shouldn't do that. You should do this. It's bad. You like yourself. You think you're pretty. Ew, you're so stuck up. So this is an opinion-based world. And by the way, super scary. Really a scary world. So that's swirly world. And so if you go, hey, I live a beautiful life. If you're ever feeling swirly inside, you're in that world for a minute. And the way I started that talk is that I said there are 8+ billion people on this planet. Yes. But there are 8+ billion worlds walking around on this planet. So some of us are walking around swirly world. So there's a better world. That's the other one that's right behind me there. It's greener. And it's called certain world. And certain world is you get better information. Maybe you went to college, but it's based on some facts, but it's also opinion based. And it looks like this. Quitters never win. Winners never quit. And all of a sudden you go, but I quit my marriage. Does that mean I'm a loser? And so those extreme opinions are really a problem, because I know that I've quit some things and I'm like, damn, I should have, again with the swears, I apologize. I should have quit that a long time ago. These really rigid. So imagine certain world is a rigid world where there's not a lot of, you don't get to say what's yummy to you. What's yummy is if you have this kind of car and this kind of house and this, you should be in this kind of relationship. There's a lot of shoulding. And by the way, we can tell I swear a lot. It's obvious by the fact that I keep doing it. But the word that I will have a physical reaction to the word should, and everybody does.
Me too.
What happens is that part of us that goes, I'm big, I'm in charge of my world. Yes. And somebody goes, we should. And we go, should I? And as a matter of fact, I'm going to do the opposite because you're annoying me. Yeah. So it's a fraught world. Did you just find something? I feel like you're going to put something up there. I did,
because my book, A Better Today, I've got on day 17, don't should all over yourself.
Yes.
Because it is bad in 2 ways. It's telling anyone what they should do. Oh, you should this. As soon as somebody hears that and receives that, they immediately shut you off. Like, don't tell me what I should and should not do. And certainly if it's coming from someone who's not doing what you're doing, or they're just giving unsolicited advice, and it's opinion. It's opinion. Yes. It's not based on experience.
Yes.
But we do it too to ourselves. Oh, I should have done better. Oh,
Yes.
I should have got back to her. I should have been better about that. We need to stop doing that too.
It will. So all of that, everything that you just said, yum, love your book. And what we do, that feeling. So everybody knows the feeling of should when somebody, and I call it the Aunt Myrtle who comes over and goes, you should dust more often. And first of all, we don't like Aunt Myrtle. We tolerate her and we can't wait for her to lose, leave, go away.
Right.
So go away. So and here's the problem. When we should at people, they can't hear us even if we said something good. So do you want to know my alternate world for should when I go, oh, this might help you?
Would love it.
Oh, I'm wondering if you have considered.
Yes. Ooh, that's good.
I'm wondering if you've considered, because when I should somebody, I've made a ton of assumptions about what they have and haven't done. And I'm also assuming that I know things about their world that I don't know. So I'm wondering if you've considered if you are going to go out on that limb at all.
I love that. That's right.
Okay. So yeah, I'm wondering if you've considered, and let me tell you what that does is we all have an automatic defense system. So what happens is that when somebody comes in and even if they have should energy, let's say they never, even if I go, I'm wondering if you've considered, right? That's like shield up because it's still the same energy. So the way to get around the shields up for people, if you genuinely have concern about their well-being, and it's, if it's your business, going, hey, I'm wondering if you've considered, what that does is that comes from my kid, and my kid goes, wow, I'm wondering. And so their kid sees my kid wondering. And what their kid then does is they can't help it, because in a curious world, like you talked about, their kid goes curious and goes, well, I wonder that. And they can't help themselves. So that's because sometimes people don't get the medicine that we genuinely have that could help them because of our delivery system. So if we change the delivery system to genuine curiosity, then people are more likely to be able to receive the medicine.
Brilliant. Brilliant. Okay, well, let's go on to the curious world.
Curious World is my favorite. And it's right. I love this because the New World Rule. So this is for a class I teach called The Science of Your Success. And this was a recap of the first week, which is all about this. So Curious World, and you can see my worlds. There's the brown one, the green one, because that's the money world. And then there's the rich, full world there. Curious World is really yummy. And they're completely different. Actually, I'm going to move here. Other way. I'm going to move here because these are rules. So current physics belief is that on the other side of our galaxy, the same rules don't apply. Like gravity doesn't work the same. Like all the rules are different. So if you want a different world on this planet, please understand that the rules that run these three worlds are completely different. And we're going to look at the rules for Curious World, which is you have your own answers. I don't. Remember, you know all of the things inside of you about, and so if I ask you good questions, you'll have your answers. I don't have them. In this world, failure is expected. Remember, in certain worlds, failure is not an option. In this world, this is a sign that you've learned something and you'll do the job better next time. Daydreaming is key. Studies show that your nighttime dreams are an important part of your neurology, and your daydreams are every bit, if not more powerful. So daydreaming, and that's that positive, like daydreaming into what's yummy, gives you yummy, neuroplastic, yummy things. Okay.
Neuroplasticity. Yes. We are capable of creating new neural pathways. And
yes.
Some die, you can create new ones. And how you do that is through positive thought and through imagination and creation of that. And the most powerful resource in the world is your imagination.
Yes. Yes. That's what runs this world. So you make sense here. So if you don't pay your taxes or you keep eating bacon, even though it's going to kill you, if you're doing a bunch of things that you're like, what am I doing? I mean, how many times have we watched ourselves go, I'm not going to do that anymore. And it's like, look at me doing this thing that I promised I'd never do again. Well, the thing about Curious World is there's a reason you're doing it. So you don't have to go, geez, what's wrong with me? There's nothing wrong with you. There's a reason you're doing things. In Curious World, you start asking questions because then you'll find the different things you want to do. You make the difference between facts versus people's opinions and your opinions and emotions. Opinions are really important. You don't want to have to wake up every morning and decide which toothpaste you're going to use.
Right.
But let's keep them in their lane.
Right.
And know which ones they are. It's my opinion that this is the best toothpaste. Yeah. There are many paths and options to what you want in Curious World. So often we go, I'm too young, I'm too old, I'm too fat, I'm too thin, I haven't been educated, whatever. There are many paths and options for what we want. And finally, you're the authority of you. I can't tell you when you're happy. I can't tell you when you're successful. I can't tell you what your favorite color is. And when you understand that that's on you,
so good.
And then finally, this leads into, if you will, the final thing being, and it kind of goes toward that vision that you were talking about, that creativity, asking a new question. And this is a write or down one. Okay. So when we wake up in the morning and we go, what do I need to do today? Or, what do I have to get done? What do I, all of those things, the bad questions are things like, how am I going to make this money last till the end of the month?
Yes.
If we wake up, if you do one thing different, and you don't even have to act on it for our purposes, for this experiment, if you do one thing different, it's going to change everything. When you wake up, the very first question that you ask yourself is, what would I love?
Yes.
What would I love? And that's it. And decide on what that, what I would love? I would love a piece of cake today. I would love a latte. I'd love a nap. I would love to call and talk to my daughter, fill in the blank, whatever. I would love a new job offer. I don't know. Just whatever it is. What would I love? Know what it is. Because again, our audience is women. We love us. We are so regularly looking at what other people would love. We're so regularly like sidling up and going, yeah, that would be great for me too. Sure. Why not? And that's fine. We can accommodate. We can do all of those things. There's nothing wrong with those activities, but for the love of God, let's know what we would love too, because that way we'll get to it.
I love it. I love everything you've shared today, Michelle. It's been extraordinary. So extraordinary.
I'm so happy to be here with you.
I have two more questions for you. And the first question is, I ask all my guests this. It's how do you live the I have today way, which is intentionally in the present moment? And I'm sure your answer is going to be so yummy. And if you could answer this question with, start it with, I have today too, and then fill in the blank.
Okay. I love this so much. I have today to feel good. I have today to feel good. And the reason is, first of all, I've been in pain for 4.5 years. And fortunately for me, unfortunately it's been chronic, and fortunately for me, it's healing. So I'm going in the right direction. That's a hope direction. Unfortunately for me, I've woken up many, many mornings and gone, okay, I'm still alive. Yes. Let's do this. Right. And so when I look at, I have today to feel good, what I know is that I don't have tomorrow until I'm there. I only am here. This is where my power is. It's the only place where I can make decisions. And since I don't know about tomorrow or even that I will have it, what's the most important thing that I can do today? And literally it's feel good. Yes. In the deepest sense of the word, not in the hedonism, eat, drink, and be merry, because I know that won't make me feel good. So I have today to feel good.
Oh, so beautiful. So beautiful. Thank you for that. Okay. And then my last question to you is, what do you wish more people knew?
Oh my gosh. So I had a 2-hour call with my mentor this morning. And the thing that I thanked him again, and on a weekly basis, I thank him for teaching me this. Especially as women, we were socialized that it's not okay to say what's happening, and it's not okay to ask questions about it. So what I wish people knew, and it's funny because we were having a really serious conversation. I had a client come to me with really serious stuff. They were having a lot of like serious accidents were happening. And that as a coach, I go, what's going on there? And I was really concerned that they were accidents that were kind of like, I'm not happy about being alive. And so I said to my mentor, I'm like, okay, I'm sensing something serious happening here. What do you do? How do you go about it? And we talked about it. And I said, what do you do if you don't have rapport with somebody, but you see something serious is happening with them? And he said, you say, I'm wondering what I'm noticing because I'm noticing this. Is this happening for you? And so I wish that we all understood that if I noticed you, Diane, if I noticed you don't seem okay today, or if you said some things that seemed odd to me, it's okay for me to say, hey, is everything okay with you? What am I noticing? And it goes for all kinds of things. It's for seeing each other going, hey, Diane, you don't seem okay to me. And I'm wondering what's going on for you. And it's just, we think that it's not okay to say what am I noticing? We think that's not okay. And it's love. That's love.
Okay. That is one of the most profound things I've ever heard in my entire life, and makes me want to cry, because we don't know what's going on with the other person. And if our intuition and our sixth sense is telling us there's something off, there's something wrong, we should do that. And I don't mean to say
it's
should
okay.
that way. You know what I mean?
It's okay to ask. And it goes, this is a multifaceted tool though. Can I unleash the second piece of it?
Yeah, if you can do it in under a minute, that would be great.
I can do it in under a minute. As human beings and as women, and if you've got different colored skin or an accent or whatever, sometimes people don't give us the opportunities that other people get. And it's okay if we notice that and ask, hey, I noticed somebody else got this treatment and I'm getting this kind of treatment. Can you explain to me what's happening? Because yep, that's it. I'm going to leave that. I won't even judge that. I'm just saying.
What a peaceful, respectful, compassionate way to address things. Wow.
It's okay to notice what you're noticing.
It's okay to notice what you're noticing. So good. So good. Michelle, you've been absolutely amazing. Now, what I want to tell everyone is, Michelle, hear how amazing she is. So what Michelle does is she's got an opportunity for you to work with her and help write your vision in her, and the anatomy of a vision bridging statement. If you don't have the clarity, you don't have the focus or the direction to go where you need to go. And without that vision statement, it's like going into the restaurant and saying, give me food. You can't get where you want to go. So you need this. So we're going to encourage you to work with Michelle. Michelle, we're going to send them to where? Your email address?
You remember I told you about my email address that I made? I built this. And this is, my work is play now. And my play is work. So if you would like to build your vision statement, find out what you would love, like explore that world, you can email me at michelle@play@gmail, right there on the yummy screen. And I'll be delighted to get back to you and start you down that journey.
Take her up on it. You got to work with her. She's amazing. We're also sharing with you, and will be in the show notes, how to find Michelle on both LinkedIn and Facebook as well. But everybody go do that vision statement work with her. You've been an absolute delight. I love and adore you. When I saw you at the event and got to hug you and hear you and be around you, it was so yummy, like you say. And I said to you at the end, you remember, I said, I'm going to reach out to you. I'm going to have you on my show. And here we are. Here we are.
Thank you so much. I have to say, when I saw you in the audience, seriously, this is true. I was like, oh, we have a star. Seriously. And so being able to hug you, like you said, and be here with you, I expect we're going to be working around each other some more. I felt that.
Oh, I have the feeling too. I just got goosebumps when you said that. So,
beautiful.
Well, I love and adore you. Thank you so much
back
for
at
being
you.
here.
Thank you.
I know that we'll be talking soon.
Beautiful.
Right.
Thank you, Diane.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Sending you love. Oh, that was so good. Such a good show. I hope you got a lot of notes. I took a ton of notes. And how we're going to anchor this is how we end every show with our mantra meditation. So I just want to give a quick reminder before we get into the mantra meditation that we are going to be doing a special summer school Star Academy program where you're going to, over the 8 weeks of summer in July and August, get trained to launch your TV show in the fall this year. As soon as the fall, by the way, the fall is the best time to launch TV shows. I don't know if you know that. Everybody's so busy in the summer, but as soon as fall hits and kids go back to school and all things settle down, we get into nesting mode, and that's the highest television viewing of the year. It's a great time to launch a TV show. So if you're interested in joining me for that, there's limited seats in the class. It is at tvstarhost.com/academy, tvstarhost.com/academy. Thank you, team. There is a QR code right there. You can screenshot this and then use that code to get registered. Your code to bring someone for free is BAF free, BAF free. And remember, this is a tax write-off. This is education for your business. So I don't want you to forget that. As I realize Michelle's in the room and her husband runs a business entity and compliance company. Just thought I'd share that too. All right. Okay. So now let's get ready to do our mantra meditation. We do this every week. So just give me about 3 minutes of your time. Here's how it's going to roll. We're going to anchor in everything that Michelle shared today with everything that we stand for at I Have Today so that you can leave here feeling better at the end and moving in inspired action in your life. And so what I want you to do is, if you're driving, obviously you can't do this, but for everybody else, please stop all the distractions. Stay present. Give yourself this gift right now. Put your feet flat on the floor. Put your hands on your lap. You can keep them face down if you feel grounded. If you want to receive more energy, then flip them up. And then what we're going to do is I'm going to take you through 2 breath sequences. Easy for me to say. The 2 breath sequences where you're going to breathe in for the count of 4 through your nose, pull it all the way down to your root chakra, basically your tailbone, and you're going to hold it as I count to 8. And as I count to 8, we're going to send energy to each one of your chakras. Your root chakra, sacral, solar plexus, heart, throat, third eye, crown, and soul star, which is about a foot above your head. It's a really important one. It's your channel. It's your way. It's your receptor. It's the way to receive the ideas, the inspiration. So as we count to 8, send energy to all of those because they're connected to everything in your body, and not just your physical field, but your auric field. And it's very healing. Then we're going to breathe out for 8 seconds like you're blowing out birthday candles. And I want you to get every toxic memory, negative emotion, any trapped trauma that might be lingering in your body. We just loosened it up with the breaths. Now we're going to get it up and out. So breathe out through your mouth hard for 8 seconds. We'll do that 2 times. Don't worry, I'll walk you through it. It'll be easy. And then just listen to my words. So here we go. Close your eyes. Breathe in through your nose for the count of 4. Hold it and light up each chakra. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Blow it out for 8. Oh, it should feel so good. Let's do it one more time. Breathe in for 4 through your nose. Pull it all the way down. And here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Blow it out for 8. Keep your eyes closed. Listen to my words. I have today to love my life. Something really good is going to happen to me today. I can feel it. Miracles, big and small, I notice them all. Yes, 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 thank you. I have today to master my life in this curious world. I can live by the 4 pillars of health and well-being and know that all of those legs on the table work together. I'm going to be smarter with my time. I'm going to build my vision and my plan and master life mastery. I'm not going to beat myself up and know that everything along this journey is here to serve me and that my thoughts are the most powerful resource in the world. I'm going to focus on my health and wellness because without it, I'm nothing. That the relationships are so important in my life. That my career needs to be fulfilling, and I also need creative expression in my life. I came here to create, and I must create. and that time is truly the most precious commodity. All I have is today. I'm going to live this day to the fullest, and that it's okay to want financial freedom. Money is actually good. I'm going to improve my relationship with money because financial freedom allows me to do good in my life, for myself, for my family, for my communities, and for the world. And I'm going to live in that open curiosity, and I'm never going to forget what Michelle said. And I'm going to keep using that question when I open my eyes in the morning: what would I love? So on this day and every day forward, I'm going to wake up that way. I'm going to appreciate my life. I'm going to do intentional things to keep me moving forward in the direction of those 4 pillars. And I'm going to keep coming back to this show, and I'm going to follow Michelle and surround myself with empowering women like them. And so it is. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you to my guest, Michelle Pearson-Young. Beautiful Michelle. It's been a privilege and an honor to have her here. Thank you to you, my audience, who comes back over and over again. We are on E360 TV. This is I Have Today with Diane Forster. Follow me on social media at I Have Today with Diane Forster and Diane Forster Official. I'll see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.